Oh my God! I'm really excited to be touring this tiny house today. I'm a tiny house builder. I've toured a lot of tiny houses, and honestly, they all tend to conform to a very specific look and shape. Casa Tequilana really breaks the mold in a bunch of ways, and we're gonna be sitting down with the owner, Diego, to find out how this tiny house is pulling a pretty big profit on Airbnb. Let's head inside and see what makes it so special. All right, so as you can see, tiny house, but really big patio energy vibes. I think this is something that most tiny house builders really sleep on, because while tiny houses are small and they are really fulfilling this desire, this dream to live tiny, people often forget that when you're in a small place with 4 or 5 other people, sometimes you're gonna be hitting elbows, it's gonna be very cramped, the body heat can make it super warm in there. So I think it's super important to have outdoor space where people can actually congregate outside of the actual tiny home. We've got a car pad right here so that you can actually park your car. And we actually have a huge deck out here and a patio table, string lights. Honestly, this one checks a lot of boxes for me, and we haven't even gone inside yet. So let's step inside, and I think you're gonna see that this tiny house actually doesn't feel all that small. Oh my God! What if this was just like typical HGTV and I'm always like, whoa! I've already seen it, but you have it, and I think you're gonna like it. So I think we get started with the kitchen. A nice big sink, you know? Tiny house, big sink. A lot of the times what you see are those white ceilings, and there's nothing wrong with that. That is very normal, very common in any house. But actually I didn't even notice this until now, but they have this like weathered oak custom crown molding that's very modernized. They've got oak trim. They've got this oak piece up here that holds their actual vanity. They got concrete light fixtures. So many design aspects just really paired nicely in this Airbnb. Like I'm really impressed. You're just used to seeing white drywall everywhere. And the textures you see on the wall here just gives it like a very earthy vibe, right? Really gets my design inspiration going up, because I remember so many times where I'm just designing my places and I'm thinking of like cool little things that I can integrate from a style standpoint into my different Airbnbs. Bathroom's this way, but you're gonna be pretty surprised because like I said, tiny house, huge bathroom, and I'm a big fan of giving a lot of space to places where people need the most comfort. For example, the bathroom, the kitchen, the bedroom, right? The designer of this property really splurged on the square footage of this bathroom. So check it out. Not only is it like nice and spacious in here, we got a full-size shower. We got a room here just for the toilet specifically that's closed off so that someone can actually be taking a shower, someone else can be using the toilet room. And we actually got the washer and dryer right here too, which is really nice. Full size, which is super rare in a tiny home. So I love that they actually went with the full-size washer dryer. Oh, it's opposite. Interesting. Now I want to actually talk with the owner of this property and talk about the numbers that go into constructing the tiny home and running it on Airbnb and how much it actually makes. Do they all, oh man, do they all, what's up, man? Do they all just open? Oh man, how expensive was this door? All right, so this right here, I don't know if you know this is like a $20,000 door. It could honestly be more. Good, first time meeting, yeah. I haven't been here the whole time while we shot this whole video.
Not at all creeping behind the cameraman.
Right, yeah, you were just following along the whole time. All right, so tell us about this house. How much did this tiny house cost you?
So it was about $265,000. This was back in 2020.
Okay, cool.
So
now, was this a new construction? What was the whole process for getting this actually built and launched as an Airbnb?
So 2020, I got out of the Navy, went straight into the COVID pandemic, lived with my sister, looking for a place to stay. And we started kind of finding a builder who had a similar design. This was like number 3 of 5. Like he told me the vision, all the design, Georgia O'Keeffe inspired, etc. So we leveraged the VA home loan essentially. Then we lived here for a year because in the VA home loan system, you have to live in the place for a year. As soon as you're done, you can leave. Yeah. No strings attached essentially. Right. So I knew I could make enough in that year to be able to drop a deposit on the next home. The HQ is what I like to call it. And yeah. For that, we're there now. Luckily, I've been able to get this on the market ever since.
So I took a look at your calendar. You look pretty booked. How often are you booked? Like, what's your occupancy rate look like on a property?
So for these past 9 months that I've been live, it's been like around 98.5% according to Airbnb.
Like, dang, really?
Yeah.
Like 98.5%. Yeah. You know what that means, right? You need to be pricing it higher. If you're 98.5%, you're too expensive, or you're too cheap. If you're 98.5%, you're too cheap. So what are you typically charging for this tiny house? Because I mean, I can make some guesses on $36,000 a year is like $100 a night.
So right now, like 120, 150, roughly. So yeah, you're absolutely right though. You're on the money. I need to bring the prices up for sure.
I think what you should be doing is just raising your prices and just see where that fall off is. Because what a lot of people don't understand with Airbnb pricing is they want that 100% occupancy. I used to do this all the time. But the problem with that is that means that your place is occupied 100% of the time. So more people are sitting on your couches, more people are turning on your lights, more people are using water. So you've got more wear and tear, you got higher utility costs. But if you could charge more and host 20% less of the time, then you've actually increased the profitability of your Airbnb property. Yeah, get those prices up, man. It's too cheap.
Rookie numbers, right?
You're making all the hosts in the area that are like, why does this guy have this amazing house? It's too cheap. That's what I'm always doing. I'm like pricing a new Airbnb and I see like all nice houses and they're all cheap. I'm like, everybody charge more. I got this. All right, so to close this out, how about you just put your hand right on the lens? That cool?
Yeah.
All right, YouTube style, go ahead. Whoosh.